Okay, so in yesterday's video, I took a first look at the iPhone 11 Pro and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So if you haven't seen that video, you can watch it here. But in this one, I promised you guys that I'll unbox and take a first look at the regular iPhone 11. So yeah, there we go, this is the iPhone 11, and this is why I really do think that this is the iPhone to get for most people. Okay, so before starting this video, I just want to propose a challenge to you guys. Can we hit 50,000 followers on Instagram by the end of the month? Can we do that? We're currently at, I believe, 41K. So yeah, if we can hit 50K by the end of September, we're gonna give away a pair of AirPods 2 or even AirPods 3. And if we hit by whatever miracle 100K, we're gonna give away something even more special, something from the Apple event that was announced at the Apple event. So yeah, let's see if we can do it. Just go to instagram.com/ZONEofTECH, give a follow, and I don't know, have a look at some awesome content that we post there. And yeah, I'll be back at the end of the month and, in a few minutes, seconds. Okay, so the iPhone 11 comes in 6 colors. We have the standard white and black, we have green, purple, red, as well as yellow. Last year we had the blue 10R, and this year we got the yellow one, as I do think that this is the second best color after the red one this year. And taking a first look at the box, the iPhone 11 Pros come in a black box, which is the first time since the iPhone 3GS came out in 2009. Yes, really awesome box. However, the regular iPhone 11 still comes in a white box just like in the years before. On the front we have a picture of the actual iPhone that you'll find inside, so the yellow one in our case, and same as with the iPhone 11 Pro boxes, some of the elements of the box are actually raised or indented. So yeah, for example, the camera modules are raised, the aluminum frame is also raised, and so on. So yeah, it's a really nice touch. I love this. Then on the sides of the box, we have the iPhone logo. So interesting enough, there's no number or anything to this at all, no iPhone 11 or anything like that. And it actually does shine in the color that your iPhone actually is. So yellow in this case. And another thing that shines is the Apple logo on the top and the bottom of the box, which also has this yellow glow to it. And finally, on the back of the box, we have the capacity alongside everything else that's included inside. Now, I do find it quite odd how the iPhone 11 box is noticeably thicker than the iPhone 11 Pro's boxes, even though we get the exact same accessories inside, even less accessories, and you'll see why in a second. So we get the standard booklet, which includes the quick start guide, the SIM eject tool, the warranty and the safety guide, as well as a pair of Apple stickers. It would have been so nice if the stickers actually matched the color of your iPhone, like it does on the 12-inch MacBook or the MacBook Air, but we only have white stickers just like we have on the iPhone 11 Pros. Aside from this, we get a pair of Lightning headphones, a USB Type-A to Lightning cable. Now with the Pros, we do get a USB Type-C to Lightning cable, but both iPhones still have a Lightning port. And with the regular iPhone 11, we still get the same 5-watt charger in the box, unlike the Pros that do come with a more powerful 18-watt charger for the first time, which does give you fast charging of up to 50% in just 30 minutes. However, the regular iPhone 11 also supports fast charging. It's just that you need to buy a separate charger and the cable, which will cost you extra. But I mean, other than that, we get the exact same contents in the box like we do with the Pros. Okay, so I've been playing around with the iPhone 11 for a bit now, and here are my thoughts. First of all, the design looks, yeah, I gotta be honest, I'm not really a huge fan of this design. I don't know, it looks quite old. It's basically a merge between the iPhone 6's design from 2014 that the iPhone 6s, 7, and 8 also had, and the brand new iPhone 10's design from 2017. The bezels are still as big as on the iPhone 10R from last year, which looks pretty bad on a 2019 phone, especially if you add a case to this. I mean, look at that chunk. Oh, and if you thought that the iPhone 11 Pros were thick, since they're 0.5mm thicker than the iPhone 10s's were, so quite noticeable in the hand, well, the iPhone 11 is even thicker than the Pros, measuring in at 8.3mm thick, so yeah, it does feel very bulky in the hand. And the display is still an LCD display, which is very odd to see, on a phone that costs $700 or 730 pounds in the UK, so it's not a cheap device or an inexpensive device by any means. So comparing the display to the 11 Pro's display, there is a very noticeable difference between the two. So the 11 Pro's display has significantly better contrast, better brightness, the colors just pop instantly, and everything is also sharper since we have a Quad HD Plus display versus not even a 1080p panel on the regular iPhone 11. So it's not necessarily a bad display, but on a $700 phone, this should have been OLED. I'm sorry Apple, but a Pixel 3a, which costs $400, comes with a much higher resolution display that's also an OLED display. But those are actually pretty much all the negatives that I have to say about this phone. The outdated design and the display. I mean, aside from that, it's actually very, very good. It's got the same processor as the iPhone 11 Pros, so the Apple A13 chip. We also have 4 GB of RAM on this. Again, just like on the iPhone 11 Pros. 4 GB, by the way, has now been officially confirmed on the Pros. Unfortunately, it's not 6 GB or, 4.2 GB, where 2 GB would be dedicated to the camera. So yeah, that's a bit disappointing. 4 GB is confirmed now on the Pros, just like on this, the 11. So I find it quite interesting how Apple promotes the performance so much on the iPhone 11 Pros, where, the regular 11 has exactly the same level of performance. Which is great because we get the same level of performance on the entry-level iPhone 11 as we do on the much more expensive iPhone 11 Pros. So that's pretty awesome. And something else that's new is the camera system. So we now have a dual camera module from the single module that we had last year on the iPhone XR. Now on the Pros, we have a triple lens camera module up from the dual one that we had on the iPhone XS's. So we have the regular module, which Apple's calling the wide. We have the zoom module, and then we have the wide angle module, which Apple's calling the ultra wide. On the iPhone 11, we're missing the zoom module. Now, interesting enough, we actually had a lot of leaks in the past suggesting that the iPhone 11 would be missing out on the wide angle and getting the zoom instead. However, the way they've done it now is just perfect. And that's because zoom can always be simulated through software and digital zoom, but a wide-angle shot is impossible to simulate through software unless, you take a panorama, and, even that one won't be as zoomed out as a wide-angle shot would be. So yeah, for the most part, we get the exact same camera system as we have on the iPhone 11 Pros, which is quite awesome. We have the exact same regular module and also the exact same wide-angle module. And then most of the camera features are also there as well, such as the night mode, then the ability to take portrait mode shots on pets and objects, so not just people. We have the exact same brighter True Tone flash, as well as the exact same improved smart HDR processing that the iPhone 11 Pros got over the iPhone XS, thanks to that Apple A13 processor. And the front-facing camera is very, very impressive as well. So we now have a 12 megapixel sensor up from the 7 megapixel one that we had before. So this not only means that we can now shoot in 4K at 60 frames per second, which is a first, not just in an iPhone, but in any smartphone on the market right now, when it comes to the front-facing camera at least. So the front-facing video just looks stunning, but you can also probably tell that it's also wider when compared to the iPhone XS. And yes, we do have the exact same front-facing camera here as we do on the iPhone 11 Pros. And with that extra 5 megapixel resolution, when you rotate your phone in the landscape, it also switches to the full resolution of the sensor and lets you take some even wider shots. As normally your selfies would actually be 7 megapixels in resolution, just like we had before, so they will be automatically cropped or zoomed in from that 12 megapixel resolution that a sensor actually has. But at least you don't get any image distortion like we get on something like the Pixel 3 XL that does have a wide angle lens on the front. So really, the only feature that you're missing on the iPhone 11 camera-wise is that lack of the zoom module. And since you can still zoom in digitally, it just means that zoomed in shots won't be as good. But yeah, other than that, they're exactly the same camera. And not only that, but the regular iPhone 11 also comes with Wi-Fi 6, just like the iPhone 11 Pros do. And it also comes with fast charging support, even though we don't have that fast charger included in the box. So yeah, if you need fast charging on this, you need to buy it separately, the charger and the cable, which will cost you extra, but at least it does support fast charging, same as all the iPhones since the iPhone 6, by the way. Fun fact. It also comes with new and improved speakers with spatial audio and Dolby Atmos support, just like the iPhone 11 Pros do. Now, when comparing the 11 and the Pro sound quality, they're actually very, very similar. So the Pro Max is definitely the best one out of the bunch. But between the smaller Pro and 11, I couldn't really tell the difference. Haptic touch is also the same one as we get on the 11 Pros now that 3D touch got removed from the Pros. So these two phones are actually extremely similar now. It's just that the 11 costs $700 while the 11 Pro costs $1,000. So yeah, there's a significant $300 difference between these two phones, with which you could buy an Apple Watch Series 4 or Apple Watch Series 3, which now costs $200, or even save towards a Series 5, which costs $400. Okay, so in that case, why does the Pro even exist? And what does it offer extra over the regular iPhone 11? Well, just 4 things really, and the first one being a more premium design. We still get glass on the front and the back, which Apple is still calling this the toughest glass in a smartphone. The only difference being that with 11 Pros we get a matte glass back and a glossy camera cutout, whereas on the iPhone 11 we get the opposite. So we get a glossy glass back and a matte camera cutout. And the frame of the phone is made out of aluminum or aluminium on the iPhone 11 versus stainless steel on the iPhone 11 Pros. Now, the the second improvement that you're getting with the 11 Pros is that display that I mentioned before, which in my opinion is the biggest improvement that you actually get. We get a higher resolution and also a brighter 800 nit versus 625 nit panel when using these outdoors. We get better color reproduction, better HDR content playback, and of course OLED versus LCD. But the 11's display still supports DCI-P3 color gamut, just like the MacBook Pros do, so it's still a very good display for an LCD panel, that is. Now, fun fact number 2, YouTube still doesn't allow you to view videos in higher than 1080p on Apple devices, due to Apple's lack of support for Google's VP9 codec, which basically means that you're not really missing out on as much as you would think by not upgrading to the Pro. Then the third reason to get 11 Pro would be for that zoom or telephoto lens that I mentioned before, which I personally don't think is a strong enough reason to upgrade. And finally, reason number 4 is the battery life. So the iPhone 11R already had an amazing battery life last year. In fact, it even lasted more than the more expensive iPhone XS and the iPhone XS Max did. And a lot of people, even other tech reviewers that I know, chose an iPhone XR over the iPhone XS Max just because of that improved battery life. But this year, the iPhone 11 offers 1 hour more battery life than the iPhone XR did last year, so yeah, it's even better. However, if you get the iPhone 11 Pros, the 11 Pro gives you 1 extra hour over the 11 when playing back video, and then the 11 Pro Max gives you 2 extra hours of video playback over the regular 11. So yeah, if you need the best possible battery life in an iPhone, then that would be with the iPhone Pro Max. 11 Pro Max. And yes, there are a few more other differences between the two, like the improved water resistance up to 4 meters versus 2 meters on the iPhone 11 Pros, or up to 512 gigabytes of storage, but these 4 categories, design, display, zoom camera, and battery life, are the biggest ones. And honestly, if you need a new iPhone and you just don't want to spend $1,000 on, a new phone, then the regular iPhone 11 does most of the things that a Pro already does, and I really don't think that a Pro, in that case, is worth it. And if you're looking for a new phone and you're also open-minded to Android as well, then there are many other options that are even better than the regular iPhone 11 is. Like, for example, the Galaxy S10e or the regular Galaxy S10, which now costs even less than the 11 does and offers you a triple lens camera system that's pretty similar in quality to the iPhone 11's. It also offers a much better display, which is high resolution and OLED, and also no notch, and also an in-display fingerprint reader. I honestly think that that's the best deal for a smartphone today, and of course that you also have phones such as the OnePlus 7 Pro, which for the same price offers you an even better display with a 90Hz refresh rate, no bloatware, and a full screen display with no notches or cutouts at all. But hey, if you're just looking for a new iPhone, then this is the one that's worth it the most. Yeah, full review on this is still coming, by the way. This was just my first impressions with this phone. But yeah, full review is coming once I get to spend, a little more time with this. So yeah, definitely subscribe notifications if you want to see more in-depth tech videos like this one. Actually wasn't. This was just, a brief mini review. Yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 11 Pros. Don't forget to watch this video with the 11 Pros. And yeah, this has been pretty much it. Stay tuned for some more iPhone 11 content, including the ultimate camera comparisons, which are coming, well, very, very soon, next week. So stay tuned for those. I'm Daniel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.